Every time I see this mountain northeast of Poway, I'm fascinated by it. It's the rocks, like little peanut chunks sprinkled over the chocolate on one of those ice cream drumsticks. Mount Woodson, it's called. And all along Highway 67, the road that goes past the mountain, there are those rocks too, just like they've been tossed everywhere. If you've seen it, you know this mountain and the area around it gets your attention. You notice the rocks. Well, we wanted to find out a couple of things about them, so let me introduce you, if you don't already know of him, to Pat Abbott, kind of a rock star, who as a kid lived, coincidentally, just down the street from this rock house on Adams Avenue. You know the one?
I'm a native San Diego. I live right there, right near the Kensington neon signs, right where I grew up.
Now, geologist Dr. Pat Abbott knows more about San Diego rocks than anybody I can think of.
In many respects, I'm a historian. I read the history stored in the layers of sedimentary rocks rather than simply reading the pages of a book.
At his home, even the lines of floor tile are displaced by a symbolic fault line.
That would have been a heck of an earthquake if we were here when that happened.
Okay, so he's our guy to tell us things you didn't know about these rocks. You see how they're rounded? That's because they tumbled down a giant river that spread out over this whole part of San Diego tens of millions of years ago.
And then those have been picked up and cemented together by people to make houses, or even more commonly, chimneys.
And those rounded rocks piled up many feet deep, as anybody who digs in their garden today can probably tell you. So, what about Mount Woodson and its rocks that contain little bits of reflecting quartz, so much that Native Americans and early settlers used to call it the Mountain of Moonlight Rocks?
And that would be the light reflecting off of those cleaned quartz grains and feldspar fracture surfaces, which could be reflected off. Apparently, I'd need to go out there on a moonlit night and enjoy that myself.
And with rocks like that nearby, if you wanted to, you could build a castle of stone. And in the early 1920s, that's exactly what happened. Workers started picking up those rocks, some weighing tons, from the slopes around Mount Woodson, and teams of horses began hauling them over to a site nearby where there would be built a castle like nothing else in San Diego. The owner, it is said, personally selected almost every rock to fit the vision she had, and as it took shape, Irene Amy Strong, a famous and highly successful dress designer, demanded it be as she envisioned. And thus it was finished, 12,000 square feet with 27 rooms, 8-foot-thick walls. It was magnificently set adjacent to the mountain whence the rocks that built it came. And 100 years later it stands, for a time neglected, unappreciated, in disrepair. The Mount Woodson Castle is today wonderfully restored, its history celebrated, it's a venue for weddings, receptions, corporate and private events, and it is pretty stunning with that mountain and its rocks in the background. We were allowed to look outside and in, and there are those rocks that Amy Strong had shaped into the castle's great room. And every part of her multi-level home, every square foot, is a tribute to her fascination with different cultures, colors, and exotic designs, and everywhere, her love for those rocky bits of nearby Mount Woodson. You just have to kind of take it in.
Forget the science for a while and just enjoy the aesthetics of this incredible, diverse collection of huge, beautiful rocks.
What rock star Pat Abbott might describe as rain-washed, moonlit pieces of 50-million-year-old history about San Diego. Hello, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to click on the subscribe button. That way you'll know when there are new videos just like that one to see. I thank you. Nipper thanks you.